What's going on YouTube? Once again, another fantastic episode of Inside the YouTube Studio. What can I say about the next guest? He is a dear friend of mine, and that's all I'm going to say. So I'm going to bring him in now. Vancouver Comic Junkie. Here we go.
Hey.
Hey, brother. How are you? I did a quick intro. You're just a dear friend, and, period. That's all I'm going to say.
I feel the same.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. A little tired, but I'm pushing through.
Pushing through, yeah, like we all do, right? So when I mentioned backstage, we're just gonna do like a quick little picture of where your channel is now and kind of like your journey, how you got there. But I'm more interested in where you kind of be going with it. But we'll get to that in just a little bit. So for the audience and everybody that's going to be watching, why don't you just paint a picture of where the channel is now and where you're at in it?
Oh, I unfortunately I've been a little tardy with my channel. I've only been putting up a video every like 3 or 4 weeks, which wasn't the way it was before. But I get caught up in my work, so
yeah, for sure.
And I work in film, so it's like 16-hour days, 6-7 days a week kind of thing, and then it's nothing. And so during the nothing periods, I can do a lot of stuff, and then I disappear for a few months. And but saying that, right now it's just unboxings of stuff I'm buying.
Yeah, but there's some pretty cool unboxings.
Yeah, they're fun. But I think for me, the reason I like to do those unboxings, I don't see it as much anymore. This is what I liked about it when I first got in. I'd see these guys do unboxings, and people would just sit there and talk about the book. Like it wasn't like, check this out, the investment is this, blah, blah, blah. And that's good to have I like that investment side of it, but I love, like, you pulled out some books, we always talk and you throw books around, and I do too. And like Iron Fist 14, it's like everyone knows it's for Sabretooth, but like I love hearing about like why that book meant something to you and where it came from and like how you found it as a kid. But I remember that book being like a major key when I was like 12 years old, and I love hearing like perspective on that. And it's and regarding like the investment quality of a book, that perspective means a lot to me, because I believe that a lot of these older books that we believed in the 80s, like like Punisher was down for a long time, like investment wise, and now it's starting to go up more because I think people are thinking the MCU is going to take over for him. But like he was like the number one guy next to Wolverine
100%
and Batman for like 10 years.
Yeah,
and people seem to forget that kind of stuff. But it's like, what's old is new again. It's just like I like to be reminded of what was big when I was a kid. It just brings me back to a nostalgia area.
I think that's why we've sort of gravitated towards each other. We share that passion. For me, it's more about having these, like, I'm in a position now in life where I can have these books around me. Like you said, like I looked at, Iron Fist 14 and I was like, I probably won't own this as a kid. I'm just like, because it was a grail. It's a grail to me. I'm happy to have it now. But again, we're in a position now where we can gather those books that bring back that nostalgia feel.
Oh yeah, that's 90% of it. That's why I started the channel.
Okay, yeah.
At the beginning, for me, it was the beginning of COVID. I literally had been working for like 7 straight years, the kind of hours that kill mortal men. And all of a sudden, I had time off. I literally hadn't had a proper like amount of time off in 7 years, outside of the odd vacation here and there, and Christmas or the holidays. But weekends even. I wasn't even getting weekends off. And when that happened, COVID it was like I got hit with a crowbar. I didn't know what to do. Right. And I was on YouTube and I just saw these guys doing these channels, and I'm like, fuck, I could do that. Like that looks like fun. Let's do that. And I had a bunch of CGC books I'd sent off, and I'd been doing CGC books. And I had an Instagram channel, or I was on Instagram, and it was kind of fun. So I just tried one out, and man, I was making friends almost on the first day. Like people were contacting me. I now have like, and this doesn't sound crazy, some of my best friends, I consider some of my best friends, are online, which 100%. Is ridiculous. But it's true. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, the friendships that we've all developed This past couple of years has been, I can't even describe how special it is. And it's true. Like, I talk to them more often and I communicate more often than some of my childhood friends.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which it's funny. My wife doesn't understand it. How I've met so many people online. It's just because she's never really done it, like had an online world for herself. And but man, it's like another world. It's like and thank God over COVID, right? Like we couldn't do anything. Like it was the only way to be social.
Yeah, it was a good way to hang out with people.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's rewind the clock. So, was it just you? Who was the first few channels that you came across that inspired you to be like, I can do this? And did you want to create something that was have other people to hang out with? Was that?
Well, yeah, actually, I'd seen a couple channels, and honestly, it was more stupid. It was like, well, I can do better than that, and I can't remember what those channels were because I don't think they're around anymore. Okay. But when I ran into 3 Men in a Basement, I saw them, and I'd seen Comic Tom as well, but I didn't want to be that because it just seemed like too much work. And he tires me out. But when I watch him, but I saw 3 Men in a Basement, and Everett and Roger were sitting in his grotto in the basement, just getting hammered, talking comics and like unboxing books. And I'm like, man, I wish I could hang out with those guys. Like that's all I thought. Immediately, I'm like, I want to be friends with them. And so I started a channel, and I contacted them like for advice. And
okay,
I and we've been talking ever since. Like I've been on his channel like 20 times, like vice versa, and just created a friendship there. But really, honestly, it was about that. It was about finding that friendship with people. I just want to be part of something that wasn't here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What do you think is the common thread that binds us all together? Like if your wife says, she doesn't understand it, but there's something that apparently we all communally understand together. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a guy thing either, because I've met a number of great female collectors as well. Like Moonlit Comics is like
she's great.
One of us, and a few others. But it's just like I don't know if you're a sports guy, but like when sports guys get together on like Sunday afternoon. I'm not a sports guy, and they just got all these stats in their head, and they're just chatting about like some player and they're figuring it all out. And it's all about figuring out that world. Comics are exactly the same way. We can just talk about this shit endlessly,
right?
And it's like our sports, and I love it. It's like we're trying to figure it all out, and you'll never figure it all out.
No.
And it's kind of awesome that there's no answer to it all. And I mean, as you know, I could talk endlessly about just comics in general and all the different aspects of it, from sales to what you should buy to why I love this book. Like there's investing, but there's also personal collection stuff that like will never go anywhere. It's like there's so many angles to it. I just love it. So
yeah, I agree that there's like it's very multifaceted. I think there's certain parts of it where like you we kind of skirt past it, but man, just the pure and sheer love of the books, the history, again, the connections. When you said like trying to figure it out, like, I mean, I think we feel victorious when we're like, I think this and this and this is going to happen, and then it does. Yeah. And you're like, I told you so.
Yeah. And sports guys are like that too.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. You don't get it.
Yeah. I think this is going to happen, and then it does, and then they're just like, I like that.
Which actually puts us all back on the field in in elementary school. Like we're all just sitting around bullshitting each other and trying to be right. That's such a guy thing to be, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I don't feel I need to be right as much now. It's just more the process of it.
Yeah, so, I just want to hang out.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, and I've been able to meet local guys through it too. Like I've become really good friends with this guy named Howard locally, who I consider a great friend. But we go to everything together now, like comic stores and shit. There's a few other guys that I would never really have met if I hadn't been online. So
yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I mean, me with Adrian, Actual Dracula.
Yeah.
We kind of met a couple times, but now it's like, we go to cons together. We just at the con on the weekend. We'll go hunting together. We have the show together. So there's all these things that develop from that. And
yeah,
again, there's no words that I can say to show appreciation for that. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is. You have to be in it to understand it.
Right.
If that makes any sense. It's like a cult.
It's a little bit like a cult, right?
But hopefully we, can make a few bucks on the side.
It's like maybe right. It's like a secret society almost.
Yeah, completely. Hey, I gotta ask you, okay, so you have your normal life and then you have this life, and they are separate. Do you ever talk about your comics to your old friends?
I talk about my comics to my older friends, some of them, but my closer friends, they know that I have the channel, they know I collect comics. Some of them understand it because I've explained the investment part of it.
Yeah.
But some of them don't get it. Like, they're like, how much did you spend on a book?
Yeah.
And when you trying to explain it, it's very difficult. But when I'm talking to you and I'd be like, oh, dude, I just picked up FF50 and I tell you what I paid for it, and you're like, good score. Or you tell me you picked up a couple raw books and you get them graded and they're worth, X amount of dollars. We understand that.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's exciting, but I love them. I love my childhood friends, my good friends. They're the same. They're into things that sometimes I don't get. So, but it's interesting.
I'm the crazy guy out of my childhood friends, like the guy who does.
No.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, but I would never have figured that out or never pegged that.
So I think they just sort of accept it. But I was at a dinner party. When was it? October. Somewhat recently, and there was a bunch of couples there that we all know really well, and my wife's there, and we were having a great time, drinking a little too much and eating a little too much, and having a relaxation time. And there was one of my friend's wives just ended up talking to me for a while, and she's really into real estate. And I said, she goes, you should be buying apartments right now with your extra money, like just buying apartments. And I I'm not a big real estate guy, even though I have some, but and I said, no, I'm more interested in buying comics. And she literally looked at me like my brain had leaked out of my head, like right in front of her. Like she thought I was insane. And then I spent like 20 minutes explaining to her like what it is that we do here. And it just wouldn't compute in her head. And it was pretty entertaining because my wife just sat there. My wife's part of she does my pressing and helps me with my sales. Like she does.
Say that again. Your wife does your pressing?
Yeah. Well, not all my pressing, but like some of my pressing.
She knows how to press a comic?
Yeah, she has a press in the dining room.
No way. Yeah. Really?
Yeah. She cleans my books. So like there's this guy.
I had no idea.
Really? I thought I told you.
No.
So she's a stay-at-home mom and has been for like 5 or 6 years now. And my kids are becoming teenagers now, and it's like there's only so much to do with them in the course of a day. And so she wanted, like, we do make an income from comics, and it's not unsubstantial. And so I thought, well, why don't we bring her into it if she's interested? And she
get to understand it, right?
To understand it. I wanted her to understand, because I mean, none of it made sense. And like all of a sudden, she'd see I'd make a sale and she would be like, she couldn't make any sense of it. And now she gets it because she's part of the whole process.
That's
in fact, she's probably going to take over the sales entirely within the next few months, and just deal with it all. And I'll just sort of like kind of advise, because that's going to be her thing.
Maybe I'll hire her to help me.
But what I do now is I have a presser in Winnipeg. He's a guy I grew up with, Greg Gurr, who I couldn't recommend higher. Just the best presser and cleaner. But he gives me a deal. We've been friends since we were 6. And so he gives me a ridiculous deal on my pressing. I always feel bad. So I get my wife to clean all my books before they go to him. So he doesn't have to clean anything.
Okay.
So it's just a straight press now. It just makes it all a little easier. And
for sure, yeah.
But we only we'll send like a few books a month into CGC through us, and then the rest goes to Greg.
I love how you say just a few.
Like 25.
Yeah.
You got to save money on the shipping. Yeah.
I know that it seems the 25 point is like
the max,
the teetering point for Canada for sure.
Yeah. Do you get your stuff put across the border? Like do you ship it right to your door?
From CGC?
Yeah.
It depends. Like if I'm sending a bunch of older books, it goes to D'Angelo. He's in Virginia.
Perfect.
So what I do to try and save money, he's my middleman. So CGC will send it to him, and then he sends it to me.
Yeah.
I'll save like a couple $100 because like
it adds up.
Sending 25 books, it's usually around
$180 US.
Yeah. So that's almost $300. So he'll save me a significant amount. I'm not saying it's cheap. Like when you send $25, it's still fairly expensive.
Well, I do a thing similarly with Greg. So he'll get the stuff sent to North Dakota, and then there's a company called Running Red, and they'll drive for $50. They'll pick up unlimited amount of packages from Winnipeg or from North Dakota to Winnipeg.
Oh wow! And then Winnipeg gets shipped out.
We'll stack up a bunch of boxes. They're like 6 or 7 boxes of 25 and ship them over for $25. And then he'll ship them to me, and it's nothing. So yeah, in the course of like, if I have like 5 boxes coming back to me, I could save like close to $1,000.
Yeah, and if you're doing that every month.
Well, I'm not doing it every month that big. Well, it's starting to become that big, but yeah, it adds up real quick.
100%, yeah. And you have to, like, if you're, if sales is part of it, like that has to be, absorbed into the cost of the book, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes
I have seeing that I don't do like the Silver Age book. I don't get as many Silver Age books graded usually. It's more 75 and old or newer.
Yeah.
Which is a certain price. They're actually fairly cheap, and I think people complain about it, but it's pretty cheap to get a book from 1975 till today graded. I think
$24. Like that's what they charge, but
I think it's cheaper if I have a discount and stuff. And
I'm just saying if you're just a regular Joe, it's $24.
Yeah, exactly. And that's US, but saying that, it's pretty reasonable if you think about it in the grand scheme. If it's a $150, $200 book, you paid $25 for the book. It's not bad. It's pretty good. Saying that, when you get into the Silver Age, I just sent like 3 boxes of 25 off. I couldn't fucking believe how expensive it was.
If you have some pricey books in there,
it just shocked me. Like, just blew me away. So, and I also fast tracked them, which was I don't know if that was the smart move, but
I've now, because I do get a discount as well. I'll fast track them all for $15.
Yeah,
it shaves a few months off.
On those Silver Age too, it's like it shaves like a lot of months off.
Because the silver is a little bit longer than,
it's like 8
regular.
months or 9 months or something.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I just got I have a video dropping today. Just got 3 books back, and they're graded in 4 days.
Really?
Because he sent one book in that bunch as express, not one of mine. So when it shows up and it says express, they crack it.
Yeah.
They don't just pull the one book out; they pull all the books out and then turn them into the system. So
yeah, I've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, it's a nice little trick. Yeah.
Or you send in a mechanical error book with it, one of the two, and
because it goes quick, and they just open it and just grab it, and they're not going to leave just a box open, as far as I know.
No, that's what they do. It doesn't. I have over because I started doing that trick like about 16 months ago, and I've found that it doesn't speed it up that much. It just opens the box.
It gets them entered into the system,
which I like. Yeah. Whereas before it could take 4 months for that to get entered into the system.
Yeah.
Now it's like, but I've been finding lately it's taking like 2 weeks to get into the system regardless.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think things have. Yeah, I'm not gonna throw any hate or shade to CGC. Their prices are fine. Like, for a hunk of plastic, for the time it takes for somebody to do it, I don't think $20. And more often than not, people are getting it for $20 or less.
Yeah.
It's not like plastic alone.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think it's that expensive as well.
I don't think so either. If you looked into grading cards.
Yeah, it's like now it's down to $50, but it was $100 for a year.
I know.
For one card.
We're lucky.
One piece of plastic.
Yeah, and I knew guys dropping tens of thousands of dollars in the card grading during that period. Wow.
That's a whole world that I just don't understand.
Oh, I don't want to. I don't even want to dip my toe in it. Like, I've had so many friends try to get me involved in it, and I'm interested because it's like, well, that's interesting that you could buy this and it's worth it. You know, it's the same thing as comics. It's like
it's the same mechanics, but
yeah, it's the same. But I'm just not in love with sports, so the same way. It's just I'll never be connected to it.
Right.
But saying that, I'm getting into VHS collecting right now because I love movies.
Video. It's over right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably gonna be bankrupt in a bit.
It's crazy. I know it's a whole new realm. Yes, I know.
Yeah, I'm not huge into it, but I've been kind of just into it. It's been fun.
I would dabble into it again for the pure nostalgia because I grew up with VHS tapes.
Yeah.
All my movies that I love are, you know, I saw them all on VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Part of my youth was spending at, you know, a Blockbuster or whatever, renting, you know, like it's just, I get it. I understand it. It's the same nostalgia I feel with some of the books. Maybe more so.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a period of time, like you're not getting, like if you go to, like, when did VHS start? Like in 80s?
81-ish, 82.
Yeah, so that's
Beta
like
was a bit earlier.
You're not getting, like, for us with silver and golden books, like you're not getting that kind of feel with VHS. It's in a chunk of time that is so nostalgic to people like us,
big time,
that I get it. So,
but the weird thing about that stuff is like I'm really curious about the like sealed ones, like.
Well, that's yeah.
And it's incredible to me that you can still find them sealed, like they still exist even. It's
like anything else. Like there were hundreds of thousands of video stores that probably had boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff. Like they just had stock of it. Where I think it'd probably be maybe easier. I know it's really expensive. Maybe it's easier to find those sealed than a really mint Silver Age book because
potentially,
right?
Yeah. Well, and the market's new, so I mean, I just saw that. I saw that Terminator sealed copy sell for $32,000, and I'm like, I feel like that it's either the greatest investment ever or the worst, and I don't know which, because, like you just said, a warehouse find would destroy the value of that book.
Yeah, for sure, 100. Yeah, I agree.
So it's kind of like in comics. I remember there's a book that I'm still trying to get at 9.8 on. It's a Golden Age book, and I know I can. It's Captain 3D #1. It's just like a personal thing. I collect 3D comics, and there was a warehouse find in, like, I think it was like in 81 or 82, and it's a Kirby cover. It's Simon and Kirby did it. It's awesome. I just love this book, and I bought 5 or 6 copies that got close, but no cigar. And but that warehouse find, they literally, from what I was told, they found like 10,000 copies of it.
No.
Yeah, and they were all mint, like they were just mint, and they've been, you know, they came out at a time where they probably got put in bags and boards immediately, and so it's doable to find that. But that book is not really worth that much. You'd think a 9.8 or even a 9.6 of that book, of any other book of that era, a 3D book as well, could be $20,000, like, because they're just so rare and that great. But like this one, I'm probably going to spend $800 to $1,000 on it in a 9.8. So that's the difference. It's crazy. Right. And that's what I think is going to happen to a lot of the VHS stuff. I think they're just going to start finding these
once they start digging,
or
basements filled with, it's just
like old video store stocks and stuff.
Yeah, it's just in the infancy, and I think the scarcity and rarity of it is because people are like kind of getting into it. And they're like, oh, I remember I have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. If somebody finds like boxes and boxes of the Terminator, what's going to happen? Like, they're not going to find boxes and boxes of a Marvel Spotlight 5 in, you know, mint condition.
Probably
like,
not.
Probably not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so.
I would like to be the guy who finds that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, same here. What I wanted to get into is maybe kind of turn back towards the YouTube thing. So you're on a lot of channels. When did I see a lot of people who are getting attention to get invited to a lot of channels? You're on a ton of channels.
I'm to be honest, I don't do my own channel enough, simply because I want everyone else's channels.
But that is, you know, that's what kind of wanted to talk about. Like, that's the thing. what do you think? Why do you think that? I'm not going to say about why people tune in to see you. I know why. But why do you think that the community is turned towards you and be like, hey, why don't we get Chris on?
I think
I know the answer, but
I think I just bring a certain headspace to it that like younger guys like Newbie, I just see the comic collecting differently than he does just because of our age difference.
Yeah.
I'm also funny as fuck. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm entertaining.
You are.
No, but I just think I just bring something different to it. So, but yeah, I've been on quite a few channels.
Yeah, I think you bring an honesty. And again, I'm up there in age as well, but I think you also bring there's a certain. When we talk about nostalgia, I think it's different for people like us. I think we were wrapped around it a lot more. I think that's why it's more important to us than people who are, 20 years younger than us.
I find it's interesting. Like, how old's actual Dracula?
I want to say he's 30 something. Very, very close to Newbie.
Yeah. And I look at those guys and they're almost 20 years younger than us. Like, not quite, but close. And
very close.
Yeah, it's I hate that, but it's true. But saying that, I think about that era where they would have fallen in love with comics, and it seemed like comics sucked. Like,
it did suck.
It did. I mean, I was so busy chasing girls and
doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, just partying and just finding my life and my career. Right. I kind of ignored comics, so maybe it's just my perspective of it. But I don't remember seeing a kid in a comic store.
No. And
so I'm really excited to meet Newbie and all his friends. And there's so many other guys like him on YouTube, and realizing how did all these guys get into comics? I don't remember seeing them. Whereas we got into comics when we were 6.
Because comics were a thing. That's what we were.
They were
like, hey, Chris, go sit in the corner. Here's a book to read. Here's a comic.
Yeah,
it was the same thing with me.
Yeah.
So that isn't. But that's why I think that there's that sensibility that you bring to I like to say a live stream or a video, whatever. Let's take the knowledge out of the equation. It's this community is so based on an emotional connection.
Big time. I have a lot of that. That's for sure.
But that's what I mean. We share that. We share that emotion, and it's just it's just book, it's ink, it's paper. But I think it's so much more than that, right?
Do you remember how exciting it was when Dark Knight Returns showed up in the comic store? Were you collecting when that happened? 86.
I know. I remember. I can vividly remember it being up on shelves, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, I didn't have enough money to buy it, and I remember I ran home.
It was Frank Miller. I was
it was game changer.
Yeah.
I went home and I took all the bottles that were in the garage, and I returned them because we could get money in my hometown. Recycling, you get money here. I don't know if it's like that in the States, but anyway, I got money and I went back and bought the book because it was $3, I think, which
I can't remember, yeah.
It was for a brand new book. It was super expensive.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was a game changer to me. I actually got into collecting even so deep after that happened. It was just a rabbit hole after that.
So you didn't stop after that?
I did. I stopped. When college and all that started, life took in. But yeah, I was a obsessive freak for it for quite a while. But I was before that too, just differently. I wasn't looking at putting my comics in bags and stuff yet. But that's around that year.
Yeah, I didn't do that either.
Yeah.
But I remember that. The year that Dark Knight came out. McFarlane was also on the rise at that time.
He had done Invasion, I think, by that.
No, Spawn was also coming out. Spawn had come out then as well.
Oh, no. Spawn was 5 or 6 years off.
Was it?
It was 91. Yeah.
91?
Yeah, because I only remember it because it came out after I got out of high school. And I graduated in 91.
For some reason, I thought that the time was more compressed around then, but
it's fun. Yeah,
that was another character and another artist that I was that really got me
Oh,
hooked.
Everyone who read a McFarlane book was hooked. He brought something to the table that no one.
Same with Miller. Like, I mean, he brought something completely different to the table.
Completely.
Yeah.
And I can remember when the first comic store I ever went into was in my hometown called Comic City, and to this day it's still in my head the greatest comic store ever. But
is it still
Frank
there?
Miller was still doing. No, it went bankrupt when I was in high school, and
Like a lot of shops.
But there's still other stores there. One of my childhood comic stores still exists, but it's a shadow of its former self. But I still go there whenever I'm in town. But saying that, I remember Frank Miller. I remember doing the last few issues of the Daredevil run. I can remember on New Comic Day, old guy. They seem like old guys to me, buying stacks of them, like literally a stack like this. I didn't understand why they were doing it. It didn't make sense to me because I was still a kid. It's like, well, wouldn't you want to buy other things so you could read them?
Yeah, we didn't back then. We didn't understand the idea of having multiples and like selling. And it just wasn't a thing.
Yeah, so that's why probably I see like I remember there was a couple guys like Spawn. When that came out, I remember a friend of mine bought 1,000 copies in like a small farm town. He had 1,000 copies of that book, and I'm guaranteeing you, they're still sitting in his fucking garage in the same bags and boards he bought in 1991.
Let's go for a
and
drive.
So when I see that book going for $250 in a 9.8, I'm like, there's so many of them.
Yeah, I know.
In high grade,
but still,
people want them.
Yeah. Let's go back to when you're on the because I want to know what people think. Who, like, when you're on somebody's stream, you're on somebody's channel, you're on somebody's video, who do you think is kind of watching? Who do you think tunes in to see you? What kind of person?
Sexy ladies.
All the sexy ladies, right?
All the sexy ladies. No, I don't know. Other nerds, other fat nerds. I can relate to this guy.
Right. I understand this guy.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
I don't know. I mean, I think I've been pretty successful in picking good books that are winners.
Okay.
Over the last few years, I'm learning. And I think a lot of people watch for, not a lot. I mean, it's not like I have this huge fan base, but a lot of people have followed me because of that. They like to see what I'm buying. Because a couple of years, if you watch, usually a year later, they do pretty well. They seem to, like, my record's good. It's not perfect, but it's good. But I do think that most people just, whoever likes me because I just love comics, just like them.
I think you said it right there. That's exactly what I was thinking. Is just people can see that genuine love of comics. They can see, people who are doing stuff for speculating and whatnot, but you just don't feel that connection. And we talked about that, that connection to a book that brings us back to a moment in time. And I think you bring that sensibility. Right? I think
it's
that's
important
what
to me. The nostalgia is important. It's like 90% of it.
As you get older, it becomes really, really important. I don't know why.
Well, because at our age right now, people are dying and people are leaving our life, and people are.
Don't say that.
Well, it's true though. I mean, I lost 3 people in the last 2 years, and it's and it's part of life. But it makes me realize how much I appreciate the things that are in my life and have been in my life.
Right.
But and appreciate right now, because right now is the best time ever, always. And you have to realize, like, we're gonna be nostalgia about this right now 10 years from now. We're gonna look back and like, remember it was awesome back then. It was like the Wild West on YouTube comic community. We were having so much fun. and we might not appreciate it right now, but we should really appreciate this.
I agree with you. It's a little bit like the Wild West. Like, there's a lot of like, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna try this, and you just kind of throw something at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of structure. Like, I mean, there are some channels out there that do have a ton of structure, but
I think Swaggle House is killing it. Like, Mickey.
Yeah, he's on a different level altogether.
Yeah, well, he's an Emmy-winning filmmaker. He literally is. But he is.
But
he's also a super nice guy, super well informed, but he likes to communicate simply, but communicate a lot of ideas simply, and he knows how to do that in a professional manner. And I always bug him that he's like the Entertainment Tonight of the comic community, because he like gets it all out to you quickly. And I don't mean like it's vapid and shitty that way, but
no, not at all.
He's just so professional, and I'm amazed he doesn't have 100,000 followers right now, because he's someone to really watch.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
he's and I'd say this in a good way. He's a bit of a monster in the community. He's just
for sure.
He's very like, his knowledge is astounding, but it's the way he looks at a certain situation. That's he looks at it in a very intelligent way. Like sometimes I look at stuff and I'm like, like it's just like, very. So I admire that. And he was one of the channels that I looked up to when I was creating mine. Yeah.
Actually, to be honest, he came in after me, and I was super jealous of him immediately, and in a fun way. And I remember I contacted him right away, and I'm like, what the fuck, man, you're awesome. And I was joking with them, and I ended up on his channel pretty quick. And, yeah, it was good. But talking about like guys who have big followings, I never understood Gem Mint Collectible. Like he's got like 150,000 followers, but they keep partnering up with Comic Dom, and I understand that part of it. But like I never understood why Gem Mint had so many followers. Do you? Not that he's bad or anything. It's just like, but he's not really like a hardcore comic guy.
No, I think maybe because he's I'm not saying diverse, but he does statues, he does trade paperbacks. I think he already had a huge fan base to begin with, and I think being lifted up by maybe Comic Tom and some of the other channels that he's participating in. Yeah, I don't think it's not hugely comic based, but I look at different channels for inspiration. Like there's so many different things that you can learn from different channels, like how you speak, how you present yourself, aside from like the knowledge of the books, you could be the most knowledgeable person about a comic, but in terms of pure entertainment, like there's you can't learn that. It's just something that you have, or you can't.
He obviously
has,
right? He has something.
He has something, sure. Yeah.
But I look at those numbers, and I by the way, I'm not shitting on him by any stretch, but
no, of course not. Yeah.
It mystifies me to see him at the numbers he's at, and I see like Swag's moving up fast. But like, I'm just amazed he's not at 85,000 even. And also, whatchamacallit, the Pressable Defects guys, I think they do a killer channel.
Yeah, I
love their channel. It's like hanging out with the boys.
Yeah, they're good. I think they bring like that hanging out with the boys.
Big time. Like, they got to bring in porn stars onto their show. It's crazy.
The clips, yeah, they're good.
No, they brought a porn star onto their show.
No, Eva.
Is that, yeah, but she was like interviewed for like a half hour or so. What the hell? I loved it. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that's part of the again, it's you're entertaining, right? Like when you have your channel, you're kind of entertaining. So that's definitely an important part of it. So
what are we gonna get a porn star on one of our channels or what?
I've contacted a few. We'll see who comes back to me. But
she's into Canadian.
Yeah, but she's into comics. Like she's a bit of a comic nerd. So let's get back on track. Started talking about porn stars.
Yeah, I do that, by the way. I just go off on tangents.
I know. That's the point of us just kind of talking here. When we look into the future, where do you see, not so much your collecting going, but where do you see like you on your channel, or you see you on other channels? Like, do you have something planned, or do you just want to let it grow organically? Or
I to be honest, over the next 6 months, like my career, and we talked about this earlier, is changing a bit, and I'm hoping that I will have more time in about a 6-month period to have more me time.
Yeah.
When that happens, I actually plan on doing a lot more of this. Like, I enjoy this a lot. Like,
It's fun, right?
it's super fun. And I really, to be honest, would love to do a show every day if I could, but I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
And so, but after this 6-month period, I may consider a couple, like 2 or 3 shows a week, just because, like, like something like Newbie's doing, like that amount, like 2 or 3 shows a week. Or you seem to be doing quite a bit too.
Just doing a couple. Yeah.
But between now and then, it's unfortunately it's going to be a few guest appearances here and there, and maybe
It's still awesome.
Yeah. It's still fun, and maybe the odd video here and there. I have so many boxes coming back from CGC. Like, I've had 5 boxes come back that I haven't even done videos for. Like, I just haven't had time. And
Are you one of the ones that don't open it or wait? Like, do you open it?
Open it. Yeah,
Okay.
of course. Yeah, no. What do you think? I'm a psychopath? I remember hearing Roger and Everett. One of them had kept a box beside their desk for, I think, like 8 weeks
To film it,
like live. They had plans for something. And I'm like, that's crazy to me. Like, I can't do that. I don't have that kind of self-control. Jesus, I can barely like feed myself a normal amount of food in the course of a day. Like, let alone that, you know.
I don't hold on to a box. Yeah.
How about you? Can you
I do.
hold on?
Once in a while, I'll hold it for a few days, and like I just need to film this. But usually, like more often than that, I'll open it because they're not hugely significant. But
Yeah. I don't always look online. I'm like,
I don't look. I don't even ask. I don't
I
even
do
ask.
on occasion though.
I don't like when D'Angelo messaged me. He's like, "Your books are ready." I'm like, "Am I going to be happy or sad?" That's all I ask him, and he's like, "Yeah, you're okay."
Oh, that's good.
Right. So that's all I ask him. He never really. He doesn't tell me what the grades are like. And when I only send if I send stuff, it's modern.
Yeah.
If I send it myself because I have an account, but I never look at the grades.
Yeah, I've looked a couple times just because it was late at night, and I just saw that they had shipped, and I couldn't help
And it's
it.
right there, right? So
It's like right there, and I'm like, click, and I did that a couple times, but I've not done it since.
it's fun, right? It's fun
Yeah,
when
it's
it just
fun.
goes up and you're like, it can be disappointing. Can this show is not really about being, talking about comics, but if we're talking about being
Yeah, let's do
disappointed.
it. What? Really?
Yeah, exactly.
Was it pressed? What do you think the issue is? It must have frayed issue or frayed bottom and top. Yeah.
So
They're hard on that book, man.
anyways, there's all different kinds of emotions.
Yeah.
So
Well, hey, man, I about 3 years ago, Greg Gurr and I sent, because we sent stuff together, we sent a box of Eternals books in, and these were like mostly 1 through 5, like multiples.
wow. Okay.
And on the number ones, I only got 198. We're expecting like 8 9/8s, and most of them came back like 9.2 9.0s and
Wow.
198, and then 9.6. And I'd never been more devastated. Like, I was shocked. Like, and here's the kicker: we just cracked them and resent them, and I got 9.8s on everything eventually. So
Yeah, you've told me that you've done that a few times where you just like keep hammering at it.
yeah, just like hold back. If you believe in that book, resend it.
I sent these in to pay for the grading for the other ones. 'Cause I
Oh,
don't
okay.
sell the ones, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also too, that book.
There's nothing. I don't even want this book. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it was pure.
When you're talking about a
speculation.
$1,500 book in 9.8 versus like $100 in 9.0, big
Right.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and that's crazy to me. Is like the value difference between even a 9.6 and a 9.8. It just seems to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, when it's getting harder and harder to get a 9.8, they're going to be more and more rare. So, and it seems like they're, like I said many times, 9.6 is the new 9.8. Like that's just what keeps coming out. So,
Yeah, for sure.
which is fine. Like, I mean, I don't want them to like overgrade. Like, I don't want them to like tell me it's a 9.8 when it's not, and I sell a book and the person gets it and they're like, what the hell?
Well, do you know what's interesting? When I
Or
started,
spine ticks on it. And,
about 5 years ago, it's been 5 or 6 years since I really got into it again. Like, I hadn't collected it in a long time, and I was CGC. I started getting CGCing done, and 9.4 was the number I wanted, because when I was a kid, 9.4 was near mint in Overstreet.
Right. And just below that, 9.2 was like VG plus or something.
No, it was like near mint minus.
Minus. Okay.
Yeah, it was considered near mint minus, but near mint, like strict near mint, was 9.4. Yeah. And my idea was like, I would like to get a burn run of X-Men and like 94 through 143 in 9.4, everything. And that was my goal. And then I realized like it was a pretty fucking attainable goal about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Not so much now, but I fell out of the 9.4 thing pretty quick. I'm still happy with the 9.4, obviously, with a lot of books, but like 9.8s were like where I wanted 9.6 or 9.8.
It depends what the book. It depends what the book is.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But I found it was like, you get addicted to like the value of stuff too, and it's part of the process of collecting. It's like,
even though you don't want to sell it or know you're never going to sell it, I understand that you're like, oh, this is worth whatever, and you just put it away.
Yeah.
And you know it's there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's funny. It's interesting. Do you ever do you have an end game with your collection?
Do I have an end game with my collection? I think I want to end up with some really nice, like a select few of really nice books, and get rid of the fluff, and just have some really nice key books. I'm getting tired of like running around trying to get the hottest book of the week. Like, what am I gonna do with it? Like, it's just I'm tired of running from shop to shop to try and find it, and then it'll either go up like to make $10, to make $20. I'm sorry, like
it's not worth it.
Don't whoever's watching this, don't hate me, but it's not. It's not like, and I've done that. Like I've bought books and sold them, and it's like make $10, $20, but you gotta sell a lot of books.
Yeah,
right.
A lot
to make that.
I don't
happen.
sell raw books though, ever. I've yet to really sell them, so I try and grade everything that I sell, just so I don't have a conversation. I don't want to have a conversation about the grade ever with anyone.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And even with graded books, I still have people coming back to me like, I don't agree with this grade, and I'm like, it's CGC.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll give you your money back.
Yeah, that's what I also don't want. Like, if you get a book back and you're like, oh my god, there's like 3 ticks on it, and you sell it as a 9.8, and you're like, the guy gets it, he's like, no, it's not.
Yeah. I got a CBCS book from Mile High once. It was a Nova #1 and a 9.6, and it was like really cheap. And then I realized why it was probably so cheap is because it was like not a 9.6 at all. It was like an 8.5. Like, it was beaten to shit.
Oh,
and I have
no way.
CBCS is usually really good, so I was very surprised by that.
Again, we're not really talking about, but I love you and I want to show you.
Oh yeah, baby. I love that book.
Yeah, I was happy it came in 9.2.
Nice. I have 5 of those at CGC right now.
This I'm happy with, like not being a 9.8. That's fine.
That's fine. I would love a 9.8, but yeah.
1976 book.
I have one that I think's a 9.8, but I've sent it already, and it came back at 9.6, and I'm sending it again.
Don't know.
All right, we'll see.
All right, brother. You know what? We'll probably still keep talking backstage, but I usually end the show because I don't want to take too much of your time. This show is based on a similar show called Inside the Actor Studio. James Lipton, and he has a questionnaire at the end that he would do with all the actors. I do the exact same questionnaire.
Sweet.
So are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. I'm actually very curious to hear your answers on these. And you don't have to have the literal answer. Because a lot of people are giving me literal answers, and you'll see what I mean when I ask the questions.
Okay.
So here we go. First one is, what's your favorite word?
Sadly, it's awesome.
Okay. That's fine.
Just the way it is.
That's fine.
I say it way too much. I don't know why.
There you go. And when you hear somebody say it to you?
I agree with them.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite word?
Bro. I hate the word bro. I like brother. I like all the, but when people say bro, like brah. No, it's not bro. Bro's fine. Brah. I don't know why. It just drives me crazy.
Some of the younger generation tend to say that.
It's old. Yeah, I'm just old, too old.
I know, right? I'm sure there's some words. I'm sure. What?
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, shoot with your shotgun. What? Okay, so again, not literal. What turns you on?
Curiosity. Just anything that brings curiosity to me and makes me want to learn more about it.
Cool.
It could be anything. It could be a person. It could be a comic book. It could be a piece of art. It could be a movie. It could be anything. An idea. A war in the Ukraine. Just curiosity of understanding things. And I love when things draw that out of me.
Awesome. That's a great answer. I love that. Okay, then what turns you off?
The exact opposite. When I meet people who have zero curiosity, who think they understand the entire world, and it's something that people our age, especially males, have a big problem with. We all think we're right, and we all
know
think
everything.
we know everything. And the funniest thing is, we don't know fuck all.
Yeah, no, right.
None of us do, and you should always be trying to understand new ideas.
I appreciate when somebody says, "I don't know. Can you just let me know?"
Me too.
When they're honest and they truly say, "I have no idea." Can you just, fill me in.
When I was a kid, I would try really hard to be not just right all the time, but like always have an answer. And I realized that there was a guy who stopped me once. Like, he was like a mentor, a fairly famous director, and he told me, "It's okay. You don't need to know everything. Like, you're here for a reason. You're learning from me."
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and it was like the greatest weight that ever lifted off me. Oh,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I know. It's okay not to know.
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you love?
The ocean. Just the ocean waves. That makes me happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, as I get older in age, I think I need to have that in my life as well.
And during COVID, we could all agree, like, there was like a 2-month period there where the world went silent. Mm-hmm. Like, no one was driving even here. Right. And I live like a half a block from the ocean, and we're in a fjord type situation, but we still get, the waves, and I would hear it at night. Like, it got that quiet, and I don't hear that. Usually traffic kind of blinks it out, but for like 2 months there, I missed that first 2 months of COVID. It was an awesome time, actually.
It was pretty quiet, right?
Yeah.
And you saw the videos of like nature, returning to certain places and things.
Don't you think we should do that like 1 month every year? Just like turn it all off.
Pause.
Yeah. Let's just pause. Turn off all the smokestacks.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you hate?
The creak of my chair. It literally, every time it happens, I'm like, God damn it, I gotta buy a new chair. I've tried to fix it, and it just won't stop creaking.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. Like, there's probably 1,000 other noises, like meh, or something stupid.
Just the creak of your chair.
This fucking chair drives me crazy.
I'll buy you a new chair for Christmas.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I'm curious to hear this one. What's your favorite curse word?
Ooh, that's a good one. My favorite, or one I use the most?
Give me both.
The one I use the most is fuck, obviously. The one I love the most is one I almost never use. It's cunt. I love that word. I love hanging out with Australians, and they're just like, Mom, you're a good cunt, or Irish like, say that kind of stuff. Like, they just throw it out there like it's no big deal.
It just drives right home, right?
Oh yeah. So yeah, cunt. Yeah.
That's a word that's slowly being removed from vernacular, but
well, it draws blood in North America, but everywhere else.
Yeah, everywhere else. Yeah, it's just like you're an idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
Or stop being a wanker.
Yeah.
All right. So, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Well, that's interesting. There's a few, actually. To be honest, I considered this
a go-go dancer. Please tell me that.
Well, it's a go-go dancer. Yeah. No, I actually considered buying into a fishing trawler.
Oh wow, really?
Out of Ukilit, yeah. It just seemed like, I don't know why, it just seemed like adventure. But then I kind of pulled back at the last minute because it was like, well, this could be a money pit for the rest of my life too. But it just seemed like a new way of living, and yeah, I was looking into like, becoming a professional fisherman, which seemed kind of exciting to me at the time.
Was this right after Forrest Gump, or?
No, it was not that long ago. It was like
Okay.
10 years ago.
Oh wow, okay.
It wasn't that long ago, but a friend of mine was doing it, and he seemed really content. And it just was like, I work in the film industry, so it's like, and I live in the city, and it's busy, and
Right.
you got to stay on top of your game at all times. It's always, and it's just too fast. It's fast all the time. And the idea of going back to a simpler kind of idea of life sounds pretty nice to me.
It does.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I know me, I'll be bored out of my fucking mind in like 10 minutes. Yeah.
That's
It is
awesome.
what it is.
Okay, so last question. If heaven exists, what would you like God to say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Thanks, you made a lot of people happy.
Good. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you
That
do.
would be nice. Well, I
And you-
hope that's the case.
Right on. Well, that's it, brother.
That was fun, man.
That was good. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, anytime. I love it. I love you, and I love this channel, man.
All right. So with that being said, any parting words before we end off?
Yeah, come to my YouTube channel, NIG Vancouver Comic Channel.
It'll all be in the description below
yeah.
for sure.
Hit me up if you got questions. You want to talk comics. You're looking for comics. You're looking to sell comics. Anything. I'm all about comics. So.
Cool.
Oh, and I have a movie that came out last month called Ditched. It's a horror movie.
I'll put a link. I'll put a link to that as well.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, it's on Apple TV and a bunch of other things. It's a horror movie. It's like a little low-budget grindhouse thing. If you like gory shit, that's the movie for you.
Perfect.
There you go.
Right on. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me today. It was awesome to hang out with Chris, Vancouver Comic Junkie. Made my day, made my month. And that's all we have for today. So hope everybody has a fantastic day, and we will talk soon. Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Bye.